What's going on? Why is this issue causing such a stir? Let's break it down step by step in a way that everyone can follow. So, the crux of the story: Kanu has been in court in Nigeria, facing serious charges, terrorism-related charges, secession issues, etc. Recently, in his trial, he has taken a stance that's somewhat unusual, sacrificing or refusing normal representation by a lawyer, and instead trying to represent himself or limiting the role of his legal counsel. In response to this, Wale Fatade has publicly commented that Kanu would have allowed his lawyer to represent him, implying that perhaps external factors or internal strategy prevented this normal course. Here are key points worth noting. Self-representation versus lawyer representation. It's a well-recognized legal right that any person charged with an offense has the right to be represented by a lawyer. But also, in many jurisdictions including Nigeria, a person may choose to represent themselves, though this is usually discouraged for complex cases. In Kanu's case, the twist is that rather than simply choosing self-representation, there are claims he would have allowed a lawyer to represent him, but for whatever reason did not or could not. This raises questions. Was the lawyer refused? Did Kanu withdraw his counsel? Were there strategic reasons? Or was it forced? Why does this matter? If Kanu's lawyers were prevented from representing him or withdrew for some reason, it touches on fairness of the trial process. The optics are huge. For a high-profile case involving secession and terrorism, the legal process is under scrutiny. If the accused is not having full lawyer representation, questions arise about rights, justice, due process. From a strategic perspective, Kanu's camp may believe representing himself gives him more direct stage to speak political, media, rather than being filtered through counsel. But it also increases risk of legal missteps. What did Wale Fatade say? Wale Fatade asserted that Kanu would have allowed his lawyer represent him. This suggests that the decision not to have lawyer representation was not purely his own whim, or that, if he had allowed it, his lawyer would have acted. The implication: something prevented normal representation. Maybe a disagreement. Maybe a senior lawyer withdrew. Maybe Kanu required certain conditions that weren't met. What's the trial status? According to recent reporting, the court handling Kanu's case adjourned the trial because Kanu said his former legal team had not handed over his case documents, and this hindered his ability to proceed with his defense. So there is concrete disruption: former lawyers, missing files, delayed defense. All of this gives context to Fatade's remark. What could be the reasons for this disruption? Lawyers might have withdrawn due to no case issues or political pressure. The defendant may have demanded a specific lawyer or condition the legal team could not satisfy. Logistics, access to documents, case files, ability to meet the client, security issues. Strategic. Kanu might want to use his time in court to make political statements rather than purely legal defense. What are the implications for the trial and for Nigeria's legal system? If an accused is prevented, for any reason, from effective lawyer representation, questions are raised about justice and fairness. For the public and for the southeastern region, where Kanu has strong backing, the optics matter a lot. Many will see a politically charged trial and wonder if everything is above board. The state, the court, the security agencies have to ensure that the defendant's rights are respected not just for Kanu himself, but for precedent. For lawyers in Nigeria, this case is being watched. How will the bench, bar, prosecutors behave when big political secession trials are in motion? What's the sweet or interesting twist for the viewers? Think about the human element. A man, accused, charged, under heavy security, his reputation, his movement's hopes tied up, and now the legal team saga adds drama. The could have had lawyer line from Wale Fatade gives a sense of what might have been a normal lawyer defense versus this status quo. The broader story: it's not just about Kanu. It's about representation, fairness, power, and politics mixing in a Nigerian courtroom. Related talk. Why do high-profile defendants sometimes forego lawyer representation? One reason: they believe lawyers restrict their freedom to speak their political message. Representing themselves gives them more airtime. Another, they don't trust the available lawyers or believe the lawyers will be compromised. Third, legal strategy might aim for stalling or raising public sympathy rather than winning on pure legal merits. The downside, representing oneself in a criminal case is very risky. Lawyers train years for that. Without competent counsel, a defendant can easily lose on technical or procedural grounds. So for us watching in Nigeria, what to keep an eye on? Will Kanu and his camp eventually allow a full lawyer representation, or will he continue to self-represent? Will the court insist on proper lawyer representation or hold hearings to ensure fairness? Will the lawyers withdraw, get appointed, or will the defendant pick his preferred counsel? Will the delays in the trial, because of access to files, lawyers, etc., lead to public outcry or judicial reform conversations in Nigeria? How will this impact IPOB's movement, Kanu's supporters, the Southeast region's perception of justice? Final thoughts for now. In sum, the headline, Nnamdi Kanu would have allowed his lawyer represent him, Wale Fatade, pulls back the curtain on a very human and very legal drama behind a very political case. The normal justice process has entered an arena of law, politics, strategy, and perception. For viewers like you and me, it raises fundamental questions. Is justice being done? Are rights respected? What message does this send about Nigeria's judiciary? If you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around. Please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when we bring you updates on this story and others.